this conspiracy theory, I will call it. I know you have good data for it, so that's why I brought you on. So there's the conspiracy theory that BlackRock and these corporations, Wall Street, are coming in and buying up all the real estate, forcing homeowners to be, or the average person to be a renter for life. Tell us some of the information you pulled up, and I want to talk about that and dive into that.
Sure. So this all started when I was on a live stream and somebody said, "Oh, you know, it's all BlackRock buying it," and I said, "It's bull crap. I'm sick of everyone saying that. I'm going to literally pull up 10 closings live here on this stream and show you guys it's full of crap." And I did, and I was wrong. Like 8 of them were corporate cash buyers, and like 3 or 4 of them were one company. So I was like, I'm wrong. I need to look into this more, and I did, and I identified there's about, well, I mean, my local market's Phoenix. I'm noticing if you want to find out which cities are being targeted the most, if you go on Zillow and you look at houses just listed by Zillow homes, you're going to see the major markets that are being targeted, and you know they're just like everyone else. They're targeting those. So I think where you guys are, for sure, you guys might be seeing that a lot too. You know, other metro areas as well, but essentially, from what I deduced in my specific city, there's about 2 or 3 major companies buying properties at a high rate. And they're essentially, let's say a house is for $330, offer gets in at $360, $380 cash, and really no home buyer, even if they're waiving their contingency or waiving their inspections, has no shot. And I followed the LLCs, and I basically determined that one of them is Progress Residential, which then Progress Residential is owned by, I don't remember the name of it right now in front of me, but essentially they're a major a fund of just specifically focusing on what they call SFR homes. And essentially their purpose is to buy these properties and be able to turn them into high price rentals, which here in Phoenix, like over $2,000, which is really crazy because, you know, rentals here used to be $1,000 to $1,500 for the longest time. Yeah, if you're looking for it, it's like somewhere near the end. Oh, that's the Zillow one. That's the Zillow one.
Yeah, which one was it?
It's the other one with the black question marks, or the black people question marks there.
Oh, there you go. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, cool.
So it's near toward the end. I can look it up real quick too on my end.
But what I like about what you did here, right, yeah, and this, so I watched this whole video because, man, I loved how you systematically went through and looked at this and basically followed the money. And when you got to this part right here, so I definitely recommend you come back, anybody, and watch this. If you don't subscribe to Javier, I highly recommend you do. He does put out some really good content. So, but I love that you broke it down and found it to this. So tell us what happened. Like, you broke it down and you came down to kind of these 3 companies, and they were all kind of under an umbrella, I believe, under this. So why don't you walk us through what happened there?
Yeah, so found out that Progress Residential is essentially just a giant rental company. They're going all the major areas, and they're having these really expensive rentals. And Pretium is where they're basically being funded. It was founded by, I think, a big heavy hitter at Goldman Sachs, I believe, who, I think, if you listen to that podcast, or I mentioned that in my video, there's also a link there. They talked specifically about back in the, I think, early 2010s, seeing the potential opportunity of all these quote unquote millennials, is the word they used, of them not being able to afford a home or be able to purchase a home. And that's a key opportunity for them to turn them into rentals. And because according to them, you know, they need a place to live. But what happened, and what I mentioned in the video that I found very interesting, is that wasn't true. There was a lot of people 2018, 19, maybe even early 2020, that were not only able to afford a home, but they were able to buy. There was, I think, 2015 to 2020. I mean, I wish I would have, if I would have had the channel I am now, probably, you know, it would have been amazing. But the problem is, it wasn't true. So in essence, when the pandemic hit, they started purchasing a bunch of properties, and either if it wasn't the intention or not, what happened is it created the environment of making it difficult to buy a home. But it wasn't happening naturally. It only happened after they started really buying up a bunch of properties.
Interesting. Kevin, we talked on the phone not so long ago, and you had a pretty strong opinion as far as companies buying up. Why don't you share? I mean, it kind of talks exactly what Javier was jumping in on. What was your perspective? What were some of the things you were finding?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's one of the things we saw previously where I mean, it depends on who you ask too and who's writing the articles, because this information it's not like you can just go find a lot of people that have already compiled this information. Most of it is, you have to follow the trails, like Javier said. You have to go really into the detail, be curious about where this is happening. Some of it has, where was my article at? I'm gonna make sure I have it up here somewhere. I've got so many articles pulled up right now. Anyways, but yeah, there's proof that these companies are massively going through and taking advantage of either the cash ability that they have, or most of them actually. I found like BlackRock, those guys, if they're not paying cash for it, they'll say that they're paying cash for it, but really they're borrowing that money at a corporate rate of like 1.5%. And so they're benefiting greatly during this time. I mean, there's so many macroeconomic factors at play here with everything that's going on. It's hard to say, like, it's just like the joke of us saying, does climate change affect housing prices? No, the reality is there's not one specific thing that does affect housing prices, but all of them affect it together as they're moving in the same direction. And in a market like we have right now, is BlackRock, or what is the name of their subsidy home, or the home group that they actually buy homes with? I can't remember. Are they fundamentally changing it? I mean, they're taking enough market share away in a time that homes aren't even available that, yeah, they are massively changing the way that the market is moving right now. You know, combination of COVID and everything else, though, it is taking the opportunities away from the normal retail buyer to buy a home at a reasonable price at the moment. And don't get me started on the next thought about that is, you know, it really gets down to a housing inventory issue as well. And that to me is the same group of people that are all working together. The D.R. Horton, Lennar, Pulte, KB, Taylor Morrison, Meritage, Toll Brothers, Century, LGI, those there are 13 of the top 15 home builders in the country, and they build here in Austin right now. So don't act like these guys aren't as equally responsible. They remind me of Apple or anybody else holding features out on a new product. They're artificially keeping homes off the market so they can keep these prices high or keep inventory low so that their crony friends at BlackRock or wherever they are can bring their cash money in and buy these homes incrementally as well. So it's all these factors that play together, I think, that make the biggest difference.
Thanks for watching this short of the REALMigos podcast. For more live streams, hit here. For more clips, hit here. We'll catch you on the next one.